Okay, welcome everyone to our August call for the Southern Filmmakers Collective. It's great to have our new name and remembering to say it, and good to see good numbers here today, and yeah, looking forward to sharing with those of you who don't know yet a little bit more about our growth plan and what the future looks like. And what areas we'll be looking for input from everybody in the group on, as far as helping to focus the direction. So in the past we've met every 2 months. From here on in, I'd like to see us at least having our general members meeting every month. And so this is definitely the first one of the monthly meetings, so which will be good. And it may be that we'll get some input from people as to whether an afternoon meeting works or an evening meeting, or maybe swapping them around depending on what the guests that we have and things like that. So but we'll aim to try and make a fairly fixed either or, and so that people know what's coming up and that have an idea of when it's going to be. So we have apologies from Eleanor, and I haven't heard from anybody else who can't make it, unless anybody has been told of other apologies. We'll just pop her down as an apology, and I will, as we go, make a note of who's here so that we can pop that in the minutes. Yeah, today I think the idea is to cover a little bit of where we're at in relation to the FCOS funding for the Southern Filmmakers Collective group, which is really good. What's happened with our funding applications, and what the next steps look like, what we are aiming to do over the next wee while. So it's great to have you all here. Okay, so many of you will already know that Filmmakers Southland has agreed to fund a coordinator and the first year's basically setting up expenses for the Southern Filmmakers Collective, so that we can really start getting some action, getting the industry-led action happening in Otago and Southland, which is really cool. And yeah, I'm excited to see that somebody's going to take on and take charge of organising these meetings, organising useful like writers' rooms, producer meetings, whatever it is that that people want. We'll be able to start getting them really organised. What I can probably do now, I'll read out the mission that we came up with for FCOS in our application to them. So basically our idea is that we want to foster and support Southern filmmakers to make Southern stories. As a filmmaker-led organisation, we will be committed to advancing the needs of Southern filmmakers and associated crew, and building opportunities for collaborations in our regions. And the plan for the coming year looks like hiring a coordinator, having probably monthly meetings, setting up our website and logo, working to become a legal entity, possibly an incorporated society, over the next few months. So all these things we want to have sort of established by the end of the year. And we also want to be working on the event planning in order to run a 2-day industry event in March next year. And then the other key thing that we really want to start working on is looking at planning ahead for a regional film festival. So those are probably the key things for the startup of this group becoming formal. Any other from any of the others sort of that have been involved in the core group, any other things we should perhaps share? No, nothing else? Yep. Okay. All right. So what I would like to see is that we will consult with the membership. So the membership will be, we're not looking at charging for membership for this first year, because we need to prove to people in industry that this is going to be a worthwhile organisation to be part of. So we're not looking at putting in a membership fee, but we are looking at having people join by sort of signing up for the organisation, signing up for an annual membership, and being on the email list, and so that they are able to get all the information as soon as it comes out. Is there anything else here that we need to share right now? I think that's pretty much it from that side of things. So it's always good at these meetings if we get a little bit of a rundown from either Stefan or Carly on what's been happening with Filmmakers Southland and with Dunedin and Queenstown Lakes. So maybe, yeah, now would be a good time to throw to whoever would like to jump on first.
Carly, do you want me to go first? Okay. Thanks, Maddie. That was very concise, and yeah, I have nothing to add from my side for now. Obviously, finding a coordinator is key. As I said, we've been shifting house last week, so we're a few days behind my time plan, as in pulling together all the documents, job description, ad, but you might have seen I've run the job description through our DCC HR team. So that's all looking good. That's where we're at. So those documents are ready. Carly this morning has sent me a sort of a points matrix for the interview itself. So obviously those are the last documents we have to prepare, and also, yeah, how we approach the interviewing process and who will be on the interviewing panel. We've, I think, anecdotally agreed that it should be 2 members of the collective and someone from FCOS. That's where we're at, I believe, where we left off. Yeah, in terms of projects, as most of you probably know, I'm putting in a funding application called Southern Pilots. I've been working on that application for a while. It's a 2-staged funding application. The first one went to NZFC. That's already gone. The second one I'm working on at the moment, which will go to New Zealand on Air. And the program Southern Pilots is about upskilling 3 teams, ultimately, for them to be able to make a pilot for an online series, and then showcase that pilot to funders in Auckland at a screening and pitching event. The program design is set up as in bringing in as many teams as possible at the beginning. So there will be an open workshop. Well, I should go one step back and say, we'll actually kickstart the program with a tikanga workshop, where everyone who wants to be part of the program can join. There will be some eligibility criteria, so you will have to have a team in place, for instance, and you have to be residing in Otago Southland, or at least part of your team. We haven't figured that out yet. But essentially, teams will say, I want to be part of that first phase, and it's open to all teams. So there's no application process, there's no assessment process where suddenly certain teams will drop out. So Kickstart will be a Tikanga workshop in January next year. And that won't just be for above the line teams, but also for people who want to do a certain number of crew workshops, which will also be part of the program. In the areas where we still have gaps, meaning, let me think, costume, makeup and hair, lighting, and I can never remember, and art department. So 4 crew workshops, which will run after the Tikanga. So everyone above the line teams and new crew members will join in the Tikanga workshop with the purpose of getting to know each other. Because later down the track, when we start producing those 3 pilots, the idea is obviously that we will pull in those new crew into the project into assistant roles. And that's always the challenge, you build up new crew, but then there's no projects for them to sink their teeth into. So Tikanga, then it splits into the crew workshops and the above the line teams. Everyone who's participated in the Tikanga workshop will then be invited into an open workshop. That's what we call it at the moment, where it's a one-day workshop and it's all around how to create a series, an online series in an episode. So it'll be mainly about story structure. And the challenge with that is always, especially for people who have not done this before, to be able to tell a story that's substantial enough over not just 20 minutes, but 6 episodes. So that will be the focus. And I should also add, the whole program is designed for new and emerging talent, because that's what a majority of our filmmakers, that's where they're sitting in our 2 regions. So new and emerging according to the NZFC criteria. So we'll have the open workshop, and then after the open workshop, there will be a lengthy period where then teams can apply to get into the incubator, which is, say, phase 2, and 3 teams will be selected. The selection process will be administered by Script to Screen, our collaborator, so that everything will be not just at 1 arm's length, but at 2 arm's length, meaning all the applications will go to Script to Screen, not to FCOS, and Script to Screen will forward the applications to 3 external assessors. And potentially some of the process will be blind assessment. So we haven't figured out the details. We will certainly communicate with the collective when it comes to that, so that we can have it at 2 arm's length, the whole process. So once the applications have been assessed and 3 teams have been selected, they will then be invited to a 2-day workshop where it's about refining the project, the script, and the story Bible, or the pitch Bible, pitch deck, and the pilot episode. And productions will start according to our timeline in 2025. So that's the timeline, really. Kick off next January 2025 beginning. That's when we look at getting those productions done. As I said, we're talking 3 productions with a budget of $90,000 each. So we said that that's probably where it sits, a 15-minute pilot, 90,000. We've taken this sort of budget from the NZFC Catalyst scheme, where you receive $90,000 to make a short film. And a 15-minute short film is upper end in terms of length, duration, to be competitive, really. So I think it's good, a good sort of budget. And there will be another 10,000 on top for writer's room to develop your pilot and your episodes before starting to shoot. So 90 plus 10, and that's pretty much what Catalyst does as well. That gives you 90 plus 10 for a feature-length project. but we are combining this into one pot for the pilots. And then we aim to have the pilots finished at about June, July 2025. And then there will be where we fly all the teams up, so the 3 teams, and we'll have a screening with the funders and a pitch event, and hopefully some of the funders will be interested in some of the projects. And ultimately, we've taken a program that was called Episode 1, designed by PASC, Pan Asian Filmmakers Collective. I think it's called Collective. And they've run this sort of program called Episode 1 a couple of years ago, up until, I think, when did they finish? May this year, I think they had the public screening.
Yeah, May
And
was the screening.
May, yeah. So I talked to the program designer, Professor Shuchi Katari, to learn from her experience. I also talked to one of the producers who was attached to the program. It's with one of the pilots, and we've taken all those learnings, and there were a few, and now made it our own for the needs of our filmmakers in Otago, Southland. Adapted the program, and as I said before, pulled in Script to Screen as a collaborator, because they have the experience with the mentoring, the assessment. So they will cover an substantial part of this whole program where we don't have the expertise. And also it makes us much stronger in terms of our applications to NZFC and NZ on Air, with having Script to Screen on board. So yeah, that's pretty much the Southern Pilots project. It is a bit complex. I hope I was able to capture the essence. I've got a one-pager, which I think is quite a good overview, which I'm happy to share afterwards, because there'll be lots of questions. It's a moving beast, so things will change. But all in all, I personally believe that it could be an amazing project if we get funded for our 2 regions down here, seeing how successful the Episode 1 program was. And I know that NZFC and NZ on Air, they are looking to receive these kinds of programs from the regions, going out into the regions. Yeah, so that's I think about the Southern Pilots. Sorry for babbling on for quite a bit, but as I said, it's a moving, complex beast. So I'm happy to take questions now, or I'll share the one-pager and people can email me, which is, yeah, maybe easiest.
Yeah, I think that's a comprehensive sort of rundown of it, and I really feel like it's got quite you've done some really good groundwork to ensure that it's based on a successful program. It's adapting from that a little bit. Having Script to Screen as a collaborator has got to be positive. Given that we've had a couple of applications, FOSS has made an application for funding for other programs, and so has the collective, and we haven't been successful, but this does sound like something that's got a fairly good chance of being considered a worthwhile project. So does anyone have any questions about that? Yep, no, all good.
Oh.
Okay, so
sorry, can I just, sorry, how, what area are you encompassing these producers to come from? Are you looking at Otago, Southland? What have you asked for?
Yeah, so we haven't figured out the details, because we decided we'll wait for the funding application outcome first.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously the idea is that especially the original IP creators have to be residing in Otago, Southland, because this is about our filmmakers.
Yeah.
So where I'm at the moment is that the writer and the director, or it could be in unison, has to be residing in Otago Southland. At least one of the producers has to be residing in Otago Southland, because we have a lack of producers, as you all know. That's strongly come out of the research funded through MCH. There could be an option of pulling another producer in from outside, but I believe the IP has to stay in Otago Southland. So when the team sets up the SPV for the production, the majority holder has to be residing in Otago Southland. That's my thinking at the moment. Obviously, this is something that has to be worked out between the collective, Script to Screen, not so much, but FCOS. And I think we'll come to a solution that serves our filmmakers first and foremost, without saying we can't pull in external expertise if we need to, but the IP has to stay here, in my opinion. That is the whole point of this. And I think that's also what the funders want to see.
Is your application being sent from FCOS or is from the collective? Which is
FCOS.
Okay, yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Right.
The collective doesn't have a legal entity yet,
No,
so it has to be, because obviously if it's a successful application, we have to sign various contracts.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so FCOS will be the project lead. Does it answer your question?
Yep.
Sue?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great. And that was a reminder for me that we are looking at waiting till it's October, when there are changes coming in around incorporated societies. So we aren't trying to rush that process, because then there will actually be a whole lot of new paperwork that would be needed. And what else was mentioned? That it's, and it will be easy. We need 10 signatories from October, whereas at the moment we need 15, which, while we would have 15 people interested, getting them all on board to sign is always a challenge. Getting people all teed up and signing on that dotted line, assuming we're doing the incorporated society thing. So yeah, so that's why the collective won't be incorporated till probably sometime in October.
Can I just add one thing, talking about the collective? So my thinking also at the moment is that as an eligibility criteria for Southern pilots will be that you have to be a member of the collective, at least the core team. So that's something we can discuss, but it could be a great way of onboarding new members. And as we see, we'll make it very easy, and it's not going to come with any cost to sign up to become a member. So just an idea I want to put out there.
Great. Cool. No, that is good. Any further comments on that or questions?
That's an interesting element, Stefan, because while it might be a good way of encouraging membership of the collective, it could also be seen as exclusive and shutting people out, which raises questions as to why FCOS would and the funders would be supporting something that is for a small group of people and shutting everybody else out.
Sure. There's two sides to it, so I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect, the intent I can see, yeah, but I can just see where, because I know the industry throughout my time in it has always been riven by cliques, much as those of us who are all in this meeting today may know what wonderful, and good-hearted and good-spirited people, make up the collective. I I can be sure that there'll be others out there who don't think that we're such wonderful people and will take issue with that. And I suspect there may be another way of serving the purpose of encouraging membership.
Absolutely.
Rather than making it a an embedded thing in a particular public funded project. It just raises some issues, I think.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
That's all.
Yep.
Yes.
Fair
It
point.
definitely is. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll find a good way of onboarding new members through the program, by doing it in a way that it's about being inclusive. I think that's not even a point of discussion.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think there will be opportunities to for the collective to be putting on events or supporting events and having some sort of financial incentives to be a member of the collective, to attend those collective organised events, whereas anything that's organised by FCOS may need to be a little more at arm's length as well. Okay.
But also, Maddie, sorry, I'll shut up in a minute, but also I think the best driver of membership is action and results. That if people can see things being done, and see good things happening, that will draw people to it. I would be inclined to look there first, and that whole thing, build it, they will come. Because people hate feeling as though they're being forced to do things.
Yeah, and that's the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in what is actually seen and visible, and can show that there is an advantage to being part of the group, for sure. Yeah, you get that out. That's good. Okay. So I don't know if Carly has managed to get.
Yes. Yep. No, I haven't just been sitting. Yeah. I was happy to be able to join today's meeting because it's just I've had scheduling conflicts for the last few, so I really just wanted to join in, and I'm already well versed in all the work that's going on through Stefan, but wanted to be here to connect with you all again. Stefan's done the bulk of the sharing of the work that FCOS are working on. I'm mostly supporting him in this area. Probably the only other thing to mention is that we've been working on in this space is our establishment of our travel grants that we offer to help filmmakers in the region to attend workshops and events either within our region, or we are also open to people getting in touch about events maybe elsewhere in the country that might help them with their career development. We'll need to assess those requests on a case-by-case basis, but essentially when you identify an opportunity that you want to attend, it's going to help you in your career or creative development, and you might need some assistance to get there. We want to hear about it and see how we can help. Whether or not it's always possible, can't guarantee that, but it's something that we've established over the last few years and are keen to keep up. So that's probably just another piece of work in this space that we've been working on. But yeah, wanted to acknowledge Stefan's hard work on the projects that he's leading on, and to all of you as well, because I know a lot of free time has gone into making this collective happen. So it's great to see it.
Yes, that's for sure. Thanks, Carly. That's great.
Can I just jump in? Carly, do we wanna do some save the dates or
offer workshops? Yeah, I think people probably know about the one we've got over in Queenstown, which is the script to screen one in September, because they put word out about that either last week or the week before. Has anyone not seen that come through Script to Screen? It's on their website and on our Facebook as well. So they're doing a workshop with David White, I believe it is, in September. So I think that's the only Queenstown one I have on my radar at the moment, but you probably have a few to share. Do you, Stefan?
Are you happy for me to do that now?
Yeah. Just
Carly
one
and
other
Maddie,
thing.
or? Yep.
Just another thing is to keep an eye on I don't know if I'm able keep an eye on the Queenstown Writers Festival when they start to announce their program, because I don't know if I meant to share this, but just that there might be a screen related session at the Queenstown Writers Festival, and it would be great for you guys to be able to go along to that. So that's just another one on the radar. I think that's November. Yeah, over to you now, Stefan.
Yeah, I thought I'll just add to that. So obviously there will be communication going out, but just so you've heard it, there's essentially 3 save the dates I want to mention. Number 1 is 1st of October, or it could be, how many days does October have? 31.
Yeah, it's Halloween. 31.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So either on October 31 or November 1, it looks like there will be a, let's say, directing workshop with Hamish Bennett. I'm just teeing up last details. Hamish Bennett has directed, for instance, Bellbird and the recent movie that was shot in Dunedin called Uproar. So the idea is for him to come down, do a workshop, because in the evening of the 1st of October, we will have a local special screening for Uproar, which is a closed event, but the idea was to combine it. Have Hamish coming down, let's combine this with a workshop. So I actually just heard back from him half an hour ago. So I'm 95% sure it's going ahead. So that's either on the Saturday. No, hang on. Sorry, I'm in the wrong month. Sorry. We're talking, apologies, either 30th of September or 1st of October. Sorry, I jumped 1 month too far into the future. So either Saturday, 30th of September or 1st of October. It's a Sunday. But details will go out in due time. On the 21st of October, we will hold a tikanga workshop for the screen industry. Some of you might have come across the tikanga workshop that was part of the workforce development project that we ran earlier this year, where we ran a few crew workshops. And I received a lot of emails saying, well, I'm not crew, or I don't have time, or I don't want to be part of the program, but I'd love to do a tikanga workshop for the screen industry. And I've taken this on board and organized a standalone tikanga workshop for the screen industry across both regions for the 21st of October, and it'll be held in Dunedin. And then the last save the date would be the 4th of November, which is when Script to Screen will come down and do a workshop on writing serial drama, again in Dunedin, 4th of November. And the facilitator will be Pip Hall, who some of you might know. She now lives in Dunedin and has had a long writing career, and doing various other things, producing. I'm not sure if she's directed as well, but one of the latest projects she was part of was the last season of One Lane Bridge. So she wrote all the episodes. So it's great in terms of carbon footprint, using local expertise. I had a coffee with her the other week, and it was nice to hear that she's really keen to drive local content and stories. So, having those people shift back or move down into our regions is great. So we don't always have to look elsewhere. So I'm glad Script to Screen liked my idea of using Pip as the facilitator, and yeah, that's definitely going ahead. 4th of November. So those are my 3 save the dates. So yeah, thanks.
That sounds great. Thanks, Stefan. So some good dates there and good possibilities. So fingers crossed it all comes together with Hamish Bennett for that event. I also will reshare, I think I popped this in the newsletter, but Kim Georgine from the Te Puna Matarao new group in Christchurch shared that they've got a Waitaha Screen Wānanga. That's basically the Canterbury Screen Collective and Screen Industry Association, and that's on Friday the 8th. I think that might be the same date as the Dunedin Script to Screen. Possible David White one, perhaps. Haven't got the other one in front of me. But yeah, that's on the Friday for a full day until 5 for $25 with a lineup of, I'll just open this up properly. So they've got their speakers include Glenn Standring, who I think people down this way will know, Gillian Ashurst, David White, Slavko Martinov, Alexander Swords, and they'll also be doing some panels and talking about story sovereignty, diversity and inclusion with Jenny Lee Walker and Anna Canton. So that's, if you're looking at heading up Christchurch Way for something, that could be a really worthwhile day up at the Lumiere Theatre up there. So also on that note, Kim is going to attend our next meeting on the the 26th, I think, of September. I'll just check and make sure about that date, and talk about their experience in setting up a Screen Industry Association. And yeah, if we can, as we've learned from others around the country, we can learn a little bit from them in the way of any of the pitfalls that they've had, how successful they've been, and obviously setting up their screen incubator is a really good example of what's possible to do once you get everybody together on board with what's possible. So I'm just checking that date now. Wouldn't be surprised if I'm running slow because my computer's running slow as well here. So that is September the 25th, Monday the 25th in the afternoon. And what I would like to do when I mail out the link to this recording and some of the minutes and some of this information is just put a small survey out to members as to when suits best to have our meetings and whether we do some variation in the meeting times. But that's something to be looked at for the future. All right. Now, I don't specifically have anything else to share. This might be a good chance now for people on the call who want to share something about either what they're doing or what their hopes are for things coming up in the next wee while. Yeah, I'm happy to sort of open up the floor now if people would like to share anything.
Should we be talking about our position that we're advertising? I mean, should we confirm that we're happy to go ahead with what we've put together, and where and when and how, so everyone knows? Yep,
I don't see a problem for running it by the membership that's on the call today.
Well, yeah, thanks, Stefan, for passing that through the DCC. It makes obvious sense to reduce it and make it slightly more interesting, and then using what we've put together as the job description, when we're actually interviewing. When and how is this? My only addition is that we did have that it was, although it was a remote position, that's the coordinator, it does need to be someone within this area that knows this area's film heritage. Is that right? Can we keep that? Because that was taken out by the DCC.
Yeah, I think that should be included, and also possibly the fact that it's someone who has some connection with the film industry, has some experience or connection, so they have an understanding of the industry, while we want to be careful about any conflicts of interest and any basically people going off on shoots and not being available to fulfill the role. It also, I think, does need to be someone with a knowledge and experience in the industry as well, which was in our original document, wasn't it?
I think it needs a couple of words. I mean, I don't think we need to go into any more paragraphs, but I think it needs to be just so that it whittles down the applications. You know, otherwise you're going to get a whole heap of stuff come through. And when can we get that out, and when are you going to be interviewing? That's, I think we need to decide that, Stefan.
I think we still need to do a little bit more work, because we need to have an answer of how we do the interview process and what do we assess people on. So I would say let's try to tie that up until end of the week. I think what I'll do is, so Carly has given me a little document which FCOS has used in the past for interview assessments. It's basically a point system. And so I will send that around later today to the core group, and then we still have to decide who's going to be on the interview panel in terms of how many member. Are we happy with 3-person panel? FCOS, I'm happy to do that. Carly, or I don't know if you want to jump in. And as I said, I think where we left off was two people from the collective, so three-person panel. Are we happy with that?
I'd probably leave you to it. I think maybe 4 people is a bit intimidating. So happy for Stefan to represent FCOS, and then I can cast my name over. Like, I think normally what we've done in the past is you just if you're tossing up between people or want a second opinion, happy to look at people's CVs. But I think with the interviewing, it's good to keep it to 3, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree too. From the collective will be plenty. Yeah.
And I suppose we will do this remotely, those interviews.
While you obviously need to put together a good interviewing process, you can surely send out the job description for applicants ASAP. I mean, working around the interview process you can do while they're coming in.
Yep. I'm just thinking, you know, will there be questions coming my way? Or let's put it that way. Who will applicants get in touch with about questions? And then do we have all the answers for their questions? I'm not 100% sure yet. So I think, yeah, I have to mull it over. At least until tomorrow, what kind of questions there will be coming my way, because I guess I will receive, or Maddie, do you want to receive the applications? I mean, I'm not precious at all. It's essentially the collective, but I think instead of rushing it, I would say, let's give it a few more days until everything's in place from beginning to end, so we know exactly what the whole process will look like. That would be my advice.
Yeah, it'd be quite good to get it out on Friday, but so that gives us a few days to really pull it together properly and be confident in who and what.
Yeah, and the other question is, where do the applications go to? That is my number one question. Who's that person? Is it going to be someone from the collective or someone from FCOS?
FCOS is providing the funding, but it is overall the collective with support from FCOS that will be employing this person. So
It's
yeah.
probably about time we took some responsibility. And took it
Yes.
over. I mean,
You're
yeah.
right, sir.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
why not make this? Yeah, so yeah, if you're okay with that, Maddie, I mean, you're going to be obviously the person most likely to offer their email.
Yep. Yeah, I can do that. Yes. Yeah, I can. I'm almost thinking we should set up even if it's just a Gmail
You should.
for the collective, whether we'll.
You definitely should, because otherwise you're going to lose stuff in amongst the and get. And there's also a security issue if you've got in amongst your own email stuff. So yeah, probably a good idea.
There's also something that's probably worth considering here, which is going back to what we were talking about before about you know, acting and drawing people because they see action happening. I think it sends quite a distinctly different signal to the community if this is being done by the film collective as opposed to if it's being done by FCOS. Yeah. No disrespect to Stefan and Carly at all, but yeah, FCOS has a particular profile in the community, and they are linked with councils, and councils have a particular profile in the community, and I think there is probably merit in making it clear from the start that this is about the Southern Filmmaking Collective. And that it's the collective that is hiring a coordinator, etc., etc. Yeah, I think it gives it a profile of independence and industry base as opposed to bureaucracy base.
Yeah.
Well put. Yeah. Okay. So so is there another way we can set up an email address, or do we just create a Gmail that is the Southern Filmmakers Collective admin or whatever?
I think that's probably the easiest, and you'll link that into the website. Yeah, I think that's probably. There is the .org.nz. I'm not sure the reasoning behind doing that. A few organisations I've been involved with have been org.nz, but I'm not sure. Do you know, Stefan, why there's what the org.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sue.
Okay.
What is that? Is there something reserved?
There's an org.nz, and I have no idea why organisations use it, but the few charitable organisations.
Oh, you mean as a domain name?
That's well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that'll cost us. So I think before we decide, because you have to reserve the domain, and Gmail is free. I can look that up now, what it costs.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I mean, I think probably a Gmail account for this exercise is probably the easiest. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Reese might be our core group member who knows about stuff like that too, who we can get some, yeah, a little bit of, obviously get the help with on the website and the setting up officially as emails through the website once we set up the website as well. But I think for this process, we do need to get started straight away. We can't be waiting for our website or anything like that to be on deck with that. So yeah, so I can look after that. Okay. So yeah, so having that come through here, that it's it's good that, you know, there's a chance for anyone else in the group to have input there, but that basically the core group will just finalize that job description, finalize the interview points and who's going to be attending the interview, and then we'll get that advertised either end of the week or beginning of next week is the intention. And yeah, ready to start lining up people for an interview. Maybe what would we be looking at? Somewhere around the middle of September.
Yeah, I'd give it 2 weeks, 2 working weeks for applicants.
Yeah.
I mean, can I just say, Sue, I just had a look on Crazy Domains, which is, I like that site. So I just put in Southern Filmmakers and then org and Z. It's not expensive, but it's so what would be available, and obviously, you know, a name is a discussion that the collective has to have, but it's $30 a year for an .org. It's $24 for a .co.nz, same for a .nz. So, but that's a discussion what people want as a domain name, I suppose. So, yeah, just as a side note.
Great. I think that's, that probably we can have a little bit of back and forward discussion on that one over the next short time.
I just put in Southern Filmmakers and it's all available. So that could be, I'm not doing your job, but I think you'll find a name that's still available, because obviously that's always an issue these days. Same with Facebook handles, you know. That would be my one tip, and I know Reese is all over it, but the main challenge is actually not to find the domain name, available domain name, but actually the social media handles, because they are usually all gone. So you don't want to deviate too much between the domain name and the social media handles. So it's worth looking at those handles first. Because I know I've had this problem myself a couple of times when setting up websites and Facebook handles or social media handles, and then you realize you've reserved the domain, and then, oh my God, all the Facebook, Instagram handles are gone, and that can make it quite awkward. So just as a side note.
Because Southern Filmmakers could well be something that's taken in any other part of the world.
Just we need to be, just a bit of awareness around that challenge.
All right, so we're coming up to an hour. Is there anything anybody else would like to share, or ensure that they feel that we keep in mind over this next part of the process? Sounds like everyone's happy with where we're at for now, and I do appreciate the input from Al and Sue and others, as ensuring that we've got got our processes in place and think about the impression that we're making out into the community. So next general members meeting will be on the 25th of September, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're doing the afternoon one again, and that's with Kim Georgine joining us with her. If anyone's met Kim, you know, there's her wonderful personality will definitely make it a rip-roaring success of a meeting as she shares what she's been doing in Christchurch. So yeah, thank you very much for your input, everyone. And
can I just add?
Yes.
Sorry, I've just I think a few of us will be at the September 21st legal workshop that WEFT are holding here in Dunedin. Everybody knows about it, hopefully, that I'm looking at. I think that'll be really useful, and yeah, I'm really glad they're supporting. Yeah, it'd be fantastic. Yeah, hopefully the first of many.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder about that, Sue. I will add that to
Yeah.
the information that we'll send out generally, just a reminder in case there's anyone else that wants to attend.
It's really good. The
Yeah.
21st is full, which is good.
Yeah.
And they are looking at maybe putting together something on the 22nd if there's enough on the morning, I believe. If there's enough interest.
Thank you
Yeah,
for that
that's good.
reminder.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Thanks everybody for attending. And I was remiss at the start. I didn't get everybody to introduce themselves, and I think most people have met, but I apologize, I didn't do a quick round robin at the start to get everybody on board with ensuring that we know each other. So good to have you all here though.
Al, did you want to say something? Did you put your hand up? No?
No, I was adjusting my settings.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Thanks, Whitney, for your thank you to the core team and the hard work. Yes, and thank you, Stefan. You've done a hang of a lot, which may well be outside your role in FCOS and Film Dunedin, so we do appreciate that.
No, it's not. Don't worry. We're
Ah.
part of it. Yeah.
Great. Have a good rest of the afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Good
Thanks,
to see you.
folks.